Welcome to Around and Around, the OCD Circle. My name is Elizabeth, and I have been living with obsessive compulsive disorder for over 60 years. I am not a therapist or a member of the medical community. I am just an ordinary person like yourself who will be sharing my thoughts and experiences with you, with the hope that you will feel less alone. If you don't have OCD, I hope you will learn some information that will help you understand this disorder better. Some of the topics I will be covering may be triggering for you as a listener. If so, I apologize in advance. Since I don't know what your triggers are, please refer to the episode summary in the show notes before listening to each episode. If at any time you feel like hurting yourself or ending your life, please call the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 988 if you are in the United States. It is open 24 hours a day, and you will be connected with the nearest crisis center to receive immediate counseling and local mental health referrals. Now, on to today's episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to Around and Around the OCD Circle. I'm glad you're here. Don't forget that you can email me any questions or comments about the show at aroundandaroundtheocdcircle@gmail.com. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, the only requirement is that you be diagnosed and treated with OCD for at least 2 years. All right, we're going to talk about another obsession of mine, and we're going to talk about my current obsession. I've been putting this off for a long time because this is so raw, right? I'm still going through it. And the person is still alive. The person is still someone that I talk to every once in a while. And so this person is going to be anonymous. I'm going to call her Patty. And the first thing you need to know is that her name is a name that is sometimes associated with several holidays. And I think we've talked about it in past episodes, and so it makes it very difficult. It doesn't right now, but it did at the beginning, hearing that name so often. People name their dogs that name, people name their children that name. You see it on billboards sometimes, and so it was just everywhere, right? So at the beginning, it was really rough. So I'm just going to talk. I have no notes, and I'm just going to talk for a while and let you know. We're going to deconstruct this obsession. I'm going to tell you how it started, where it went, and where I am now. And who knows, she may listen to this podcast. I don't know. But news may get back to her. We'll see. This obsession started in July of 2018. So that was 5 years ago. Wow. It's a long time. I met her at a meeting, and I hung out with her and some other friends for several days. You know, we had fun. She was a lot of fun, and she was funny, and she's smart, and, you know, I learned a lot from her and everything, and I just didn't think anything about it. You know, everything was going great. And then one night we were all having dinner, and there was going to be a party later, and she wrote her phone number down for me, and she said, you know, put this in your phone, and you know, call me when you get to the party, and, you know, I'll see you there. And there were going to be a lot of people, like hundreds and hundreds of people there. And me and some friends went, and we ate, and I started looking around for her, couldn't find her. And so I texted her, you know, hey, where are you? You know, there were lots of different, it's like there's outside, there's inside, there's an enclosed area, like there were just all the kinds of places she could be. And, you know, I looked for her, couldn't find her. So I texted her, hey, where are you? You know, can't find you. She didn't write me back. So just me and some friends just ended up drinking, talking, you know, messing around. And I don't know much later it was. I probably texted her again. I probably texted her like twice. I kind of like to try to bug people, you know. Text her again. Hey, can't find you. You know, she didn't text me back. So then, I have this insecurity. Like, I always think people are mad at me. I don't know if that's an OCD thing. I have a couple of friends who have OCD, and they're always thinking someone's mad at them, you know. I probably had another friend even text her because, like, hey, you know, why should I answer Elizabeth's text? You know, I'm mad at her. Like, this just kind of stuff goes through my mind, right? So I think I probably had somebody else text her, but she didn't answer that text either. And then finally I called her and just had to leave a voicemail, and I never did see her at the party. And so I went back home, and it was when I got back home that I realized, uh-oh, this is in a loop now. And then it wasn't very long after I got home, she actually messaged me and she's like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. Are you still here? I had my phone on silent or I had my phone turned off, whatever." I said, "No, I'm not still there. I left. And it was too far to go back, so I didn't go back. But I already knew. I remember that exact moment. I was sitting in my bed at my computer downloading some video or something, and I remember saying, "Oh my God, no, no, no," because I hadn't had an OCD spell in a long time. I don't remember the last one I had. It's been a long time, and I knew it right then. I knew it. The next day, I was just freaking out. I was freaking out the next day, and of course, we do all these things we try to do. Don't think about it, put it out of our mind, which I knew that wasn't going to work, right? So, bottom line is, we were friends on Instagram and Facebook, and I ended up blocking her on both of those. We may have even been on Twitter, I don't know. And the reason I did that because I was protecting her, because I know from previous experiences, sorry, that I tend to bother people that I'm obsessed with. I'm always like, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?" Because my thought is if I don't do certain rituals, this person's going to get sick, they're going to get hurt, or they're going to die. And I didn't want her to have to deal with that. And I didn't know how much she knew about OCD, and she certainly didn't know that I had OCD or what kind I had. And so I just didn't want to appear to be bothering her or saying something that was going to upset her, right? So I blocked her. I unfriended her on Facebook. I unfriended her on Instagram, and I blocked her. Well, she got really mad. And of course she did, because she didn't know why I did it. Like, she was probably thinking because she couldn't find me at a party, she's blocking me. Like, what the hell? She got mad. Word got back to me that she had noticed that she had been blocked, and she was really mad. And so what did I do? I unblocked her. I friended her again, and I followed her again on Instagram, and because I didn't want to make her mad. Like, that was the whole point of blocking her, was to protect her, right? And so it got really bad. She's been sick in the past, and so that didn't help at all, because of course I'm thinking she's going to get sick again, and she's been in a car accident before, and of course I'm thinking she's going to be in a car accident again. Just things like that. I knew about her that didn't help, right? Because if they could happen once, they could happen again, right? Things went on, things got really bad, and then one night, it was around midnight, and I was having a terrible night, and I had, and it's weird because let me just try to think about when this happened. So sorry. It got better. It did get better for a while, and I remember we were messaging each other on Instagram, and I was like, "I'm so glad that we can talk now and we don't have to worry about all this OCD thing, and we just talk like regular people." And she's like, "Me too. This is so nice. And just talking about our families and everything. And then I don't know how much later it was after that, guys. The timeline is so messed up. Anyway, around midnight one night, I was having a really bad night, and I had messaged her just something random. I'd messaged her a day or two before, and she hadn't answered. And so I couldn't call my therapist. It's at midnight. And so what did I do? I wrote something to the effect of, "You're not answering my message. You would know if I fell off the face of the earth because you don't even talk to me. So you would know if I fell off the face of the earth." And as soon as I hit send, I regretted it. I mean, I regretted it so bad. I knew, uh-oh. And so she got really mad and she blocked me on everything. And before she blocked me on Instagram, she put like a big meme up on Instagram saying, basically that, don't let people tell you what to do and tell you who you are and be yourself and all that. And I felt terrible. I felt so terrible. And there wasn't anything I could say because I was blocked. So it got really, it was terrible. I was like, and we were never really what I would consider friends. Like we didn't really talk much, but it really squashed any possible future of being friends. I was like, and I don't blame her at all. Like I would have done the very same thing. You have to take care of your mental health. She has to take care of her mental health too. She had a lot of stuff going on at her house, just like I had a lot of stuff going on at my house, and she had to protect herself. She couldn't deal with that crap. It was like I was playing games with her, right? And I couldn't explain to her my OCD. So I was stuck. I was stuck for like 2 or 3 years without really being able to talk to her. And I just felt terrible. I felt absolutely terrible. There were also a couple of my friends that she kind of quit talking to because, I don't know, she probably thought it would get back to them. Anything personal she was telling them, even just things about her life. She probably didn't want me to know anything going on. And so I feel bad for that because they kind of lost her friendship too over that. But that was not my choice. That was hers. So anyway, fast forward, it got better and then it got really bad during the pandemic. I thought it was almost completely gone, and then the pandemic hit, and I really did get suicidal during the pandemic. And guys, if you ever get suicidal, please reach out to somebody. Please don't let it go that far. It wasn't because I was unhappy. I just didn't know what else to do. I tried everything. And now, 5 years later, and having had so many of these OCD spells, I don't really think that I will ever be suicidal again because history repeats itself, and I know in my head and also emotionally that it's going to do this. This is the kind of stuff that's going to happen, and you just have to go with it. You know, it's kind of like what they say about childbirth when you're having labor pains. You just have to kind of ride out the pain instead of fighting it. You have to ride it out. You just have to go with the anxiety a little bit and let it release itself. And it always does. But sometimes I would just get so disheartened and tired physically and mentally that I really seriously considered ending my life. I mean, I had plans and everything, and but I know in my head, I know what this disorder is all about and what's going to happen. And the next time I have another OCD spell, the same exact thing's going to happen. It's going to ebb and flow. It's going to get really bad. And then I'm going to feel like I can't get through it. And I always do, just like in childbirth. If you ladies out there have, gone through childbirth, you say, I can't do this, I can't do this. And what happens? You have a baby, right? So where are we now? So now I say, and this is what I told her, I wrote her a letter a couple of years ago. I happen to have her address somewhere. And I told her, I said, I just want to let you know that this spell is almost over. About 1%, I think. I think at that time I told her 5%. And the reason I hang on to that small percent, I believe, is that I don't want another one coming and taking its place. And that's how one is leaves, is another one takes its place. And so I just keep thinking of these scenarios, which I talked about in a previous episode, and that's pretty much all my OCD and that I have with her. And it's just a small part of my day, like maybe 1 or 2 minutes a day. And I can deal with that. Holy cow, I can deal with that. And the thoughts are not scary. It's not that she's going to die. It's not that she's going to get sick. It's not that she's going to get hurt. The thoughts are just, hello, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? I'm good. Bye. Like, there's nothing there scary, right? And that's how I've managed to replace the negative, scary thoughts is by thinking of something that has to do with her that is more positive, has a positive outcome. So if you haven't listened to my episode about scenarios, please go back and listen to how I do that. Creating these scenarios, I always thought I was crazy, but really it's kind of brilliant because you're replacing negative with more positive. I won't say that all my scenarios are positive, but they do have a meaning. And I'd rather think of something that has a meaning that teaches me something than think of something that's totally illogical and scary. That's just my thing. So, again, where are we now? Well, I don't know if she ever read that letter, to be honest with you, but I have seen her around online in different places, and she said hello to me several times, and I've even asked her a couple of questions, and she's answered them. She's been very polite, and as long as we can be polite and civil, I'm fine with that. Like, I don't have to be friends with her. That was never a goal of mine. It might have been in the beginning, before that party, is that thinking later on down the line, hey, this would be somebody really, fun to hang around with. We have a lot in common. Turns out we really don't have that much in common, but at that time I kind of thought we did. And so that was never my goal to be friends. So, but I do want to be civil. I don't want to be tense when I see her in a meeting because we have online meetings sometimes, and I don't want to be tense when I see her name and around those holidays. I don't want to be tense when I see her name on billboards and someone says, "Oh, I named my dog Patty." Like, I don't want to feel any anxiety at all, and I really don't. I might think to myself, "Oh yeah, Patty, of course it's got to be Patty." Like I might say something like that to myself, but I don't feel any anxiety. So that's where I am right now. So I don't know. I may deconstruct a couple of other OCD spells for you later on down the line. Truthfully, some of them were so long ago or were taking place during such turbulent times in my life that I don't really remember a lot of the details. What I'll probably have to do is do an episode on several OCD spells because the one I'm thinking of, the episode would probably be a total of 2 minutes long. I mean, that's really all I remember about it. So anyway, well, I'm going to go ahead and close this episode out, and I thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. I would appreciate if you would share my podcast with others. Don't forget I'm also on YouTube. If you are more comfortable with YouTube, this is also uploaded to YouTube or anywhere you get your podcasts. I thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a beautiful and peaceful day. Bye.